Hey, how's it guys? In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to connect to a SQLite database in VBA. If you don't know what a SQLite database is, a SQLite database is an open source database system, very similar to Microsoft Access. The database stores the table as a file, and it doesn't have the 2 GB storage limit like Access has. And the drawback with a SQLite database is the database doesn't come with a default interface to manage tables and run queries, but fortunately there are open source web applications and applications that you can download to manage your SQLite database pretty easily. Alright, so before you can connect to a SQLite database in VBA, you'll first need to download a SQLite ODBC driver. And you can download the SQLite driver from ch-warner.de, which I'll paste the link in the description below. And once you get to this page, you want to scroll down to the current version section. And based on the Windows version that you're using, I'm using Windows 64. So I'm going to download the w64.exe file. And once you download the file, launch the binary to launch the installation process. And I already installed the driver. I'm not going to install the driver again. But if you want to check if the driver is installed successfully, you can use the ODBC data source tool. I'm going to launch my ODBC data sources 64-bit application. And if you go to the drivers tab, you should see SQLite drivers as one of the options. And one more thing. If you don't have a sample database to work with, here you can go to this GitHub repository, which I'll link the link in the description below as well. So the sample database is called Chinnak. You want to scroll down to Chinnak_SQLite.SQLite. And it's just going to be this file right here. Download the file to your local drive, and this is what the file looks like. And that's basically everything we need to connect to a SQLite database in VBA. Alright, so here let me open my Excel workbook. And make sure that I save your Excel workbook as macro-enabled file. I'm going to open the VBA window by going to the Developer tab and click on Visual Basic. And here I'm going to insert a new module. Alright, so here I'm going to name the subroutine Connect to SQLite. In this video, I'm going to cover 2 topics. The first item is going to be how to connect to a SQLite database. And the second item is going to be how to pass a SQL statement to put the data into Excel. And if you are building an application and looking for a lightweight database to use, then I highly recommend that you use SQLite database as one of the options. Now click on Tools. You want to add the ActiveX data object library reference to one of the libraries. Alright, so from the references list, you want to scroll down to Microsoft ActiveX data object. And choose the latest version and make sure that the reference is checked. And click on OK. Alright, so let's start with item number 1, which is to connect to a SQLite database. Alright, so first I'm going to declare my objects. And this is going to be connection object. Name connection as ADODB.connection. Then I want to create a record set object. And I'll name the object as RST. As ADODB.recordSet. Next, I need to declare my string variable, and this one's going to be connection string, and this one's going to be SQLite database path. I'll name the variable database path a string. Then I'm going to create another variable to store the SQL statement. Right, so this is what the database looks like. So if let me go back to the main page. And I'll link the link in the description below as well. And here I'll drag and drop the SQLite database to this SQLite viewer application. And it's going to load the database and read the tables individually. And here it's going to show you all the tables from the SQLite database. And for the SQL statement, I'm going to write a very simple select statement. For the select statement, I'm going to return all the records from the customer table where company is not null. And I'll copy the SQL statement. I'm going to create my SQL statement variable first. And I'll pass the SQL statement. Alright, so going back to the variable declaration. And here I want to declare another variable called I as long. Now I'm going to create my database path variable. And it's going to be the file path point to the SQLite database. Next, I need to create my connection string. For the connection string, we need to specify the driver, and it's going to be SQLite 3 ODBC driver semicolon. Then we need to add another property, and it's going to be database path. And make sure that you end the connection string with a semicolon. Now we can create our connection object. And let me move the SQL statement to item number 2. Alright, so here I'm going to construct my connection object. And I'm going to type set connection is equals to new ADODB.connection. And with the connection object, I want to open the connection string. Then I want to set the cursor location to AD user client type. And here I'm going to put a stop right here. And to do a test run to make sure that the connection string is working correctly, I'm going to processify it to run the macro. And here you can see that my code is stopping at this stop statement. And that means that from the first line here, all the way to the connection object creation, we didn't run into any error, so it means that the connection string is good to go. Alright, so that's item number 1, which is to create a connection object to connect to a SQLite database. Now let's move on to item number 2, which is to pass a SQL statement to retrieve the dataset and paste the dataset to Excel. And to load the dataset, here we need to create a record set object. So I'm going to type set rst is equals to new ADODB.recordSet. And with the record set object, I want to set my cursor location to user client. And it should be use client, not user client, use client. Then I want to execute the SQL statement. So here I'm going to type .open, and I'll pass the SQL statement as the source. Then I'll set the active connection with the connection object. And that's it. And to pass the data set to my Excel spreadsheet, and here let me create a new worksheet. And I'll name the worksheet as data set. And after the record set object creation, I'm going to insert a wait statement to point to the data set worksheet. So with this workbook, worksheets, data set. I want to insert the record set first. I want to insert the record set at cell A2. So here I'll type .range A2 .copy from record set. Now insert the record set object. Next, I want to insert the column field name or column label. And I'm going to iterate each field. So here I'm going to insert loop for I is equals to 0 to record set.fields .count. And because the base array starts from 0, so I need to subtract the variable 1. And to reference the cells, I'm going to use the cells method. And it's going to be the first row. And for the column index, it's going to be I plus 1. Is equals to record set.fields. And we'll provide the column index number .name. And once we finish the data insertion, we need to close the record set object and the connection object. And I'll set both objects to nothing to make sure that we empty out the memory. Right, so that's everything we need to write for this macro. Alright, so let's do a test run. Now I'll go back to my Excel spreadsheet. Then go to View, Macros, and run the connect to SQLite macro. Alright, so here I have a typo. And it should be nothing. Now let's try again. And send and here's the data set from the SQL statement. Now if I change the SQL statement to is now, and I'll copy paste the SQL statement to my SQL statement variable. Oh, so here I forgot one more thing. So it should be clear all the data first. Alright, so here within the data set worksheet, I'm going to clear all the contents on the worksheet, and I can use the .cells.clear content statement. And I also update the SQL statement. Alright, so this time if I run the macro again, and it's going to return all the customers' records where the company is now. Alright, so this is going to be everything I'm going to share in this video, and hopefully you guys found this video useful. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.